As many of you know, the very first game that got me into playing any of these hobby board games was a game called HeroClix from Wizkids. So today we're taking a look at a board game from Wizkids, not a two-player mishmash of heroes fighting each other on a nice grid-style map. Today we're looking at a battle card game, a 30-minute battle card game called Time Barons. It seems like an interesting concept. Let's take a look right now at what Time Barons is as a battle card game, and if it lives up to that name, if it lives up to that time limit, and if it's any good. Let's take a look right now how to play it. We'll come back up, talk about what I think. So the game starts with both sides with this kind of a setup. Everybody gets a homeland, and I really like this. At the bottom of the homeland cards that you get, it says you are the first player, or it doesn't say that. You just shuffle these around and hand each other one of them. It doesn't say like the last person to start a death cult is the first player. You know, it's an interesting idea of, hey, here's just two cards that you both start with. One of them says you're the first player. Whoever gets it, gets it. The first player will only get 2 actions on the first turn. Everyone else, and every time else after that, everyone will get 3 actions per turn. So you'll start with 5 level 1 cards here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are obviously level 1s here. It's based on Middle Ages, slightly industrialized, more modern era warfare, and then future. But these are things like Pillage, Cannon Fodder, Bad Omen, Fertility Festival. So there's different types of cards here. These are kind of cards that can just be played to hit stuff. These are reaction cards. There's some more sight cards as well, and these are cards that you can attach to your cards or the opponent's cards to do kind of nasty things to their sights too. So on your turn, you will have these 3 actions to do. The actions you can do, you can draw a card. So from an equal to or lower than your level, so you'll mark your level here, and they'll mark their level there. And when you move up, obviously it'll tell you what level you're at. So if you're at level 2, you can draw from a level 1 or a level 2 card, and obviously it goes higher. You can draw from all the cards at that point. You can gain a follower from the supply and place it on one of your sites you have in play. This is an action to do this. This is the least efficient way to do that, to gain these followers, because once you get some cards out here, they will do better things and get you followers in easier ways. Another one would be relocate. So if you had another site out here, you could relocate your followers however you want them to. Another way is to play a card. So the playing of a card, it uses this cost up here. And you think, well, what are the resources? What do I pay? You pay actions. So to play any of these cards, it costs you 1 action to play them. Now, there will be some later that cost 4 actions to do. Obviously, you only get 3 actions a turn, so there are cards to give you additional actions later in which you'll see that. To upgrade to the next level, you pay the cost listed on it. So it's 2 to upgrade here, 3 to upgrade there, 4 to upgrade there. And those are the 5 main actions you can do. You can also do sight actions. So let's pull a few of these cards out here that are sights that kind of show you what sight actions do. So here we have a battering ram. You notice it's got 2 actions to play this out onto your tableau down here. It's got a health of 3. Your homeland has a health of 6. It's actually fortification or whatever they call it, but it says if you have 3 followers on here, you can do 1 structural damage. If you have 2 followers on here, you can sacrifice the battering ram to do 2 structural damage to a single site. So it is just different types of things that do damage. So battering ram, barracks, farms, castle, mason's guild, alien monolith, that's pretty great. Mines. And now look at this art. It's really great. It's just a tritone art with 3 different colors, basically black, white, and the color of that level. But it just looks really good, and a lot of cool art. I mean, it's really kind of dark and serious, even though it's cartoony and simply done. So that's just kind of a neat facet for me, but it looks good. Like, I love this card, Dilemma. Choose 2 sites owned by the opponent. They choose one of their sites to save and do 5 damage to the other one. Now, this is the expansion cards that we have down here. There's a base set as well that you could use. These are just damage tokens. If you do damage to a site, you'll remove that many followers first and then assign damage as well on there. You can win 2 ways. You can win by killing all the followers off. That's a total victory. Or you can win by having the most followers once all 3 of these card decks runs out. Or I should say 3 of the card decks run out. But the other thing is, on site actions, you can only do 1 site action per card per turn. So even though this has 2 site actions and you have 3 followers here, you could not do both of these. You also could not do the same site action. Obviously that makes more sense, but it's once per turn per card. So that is the section on how to play the game. Pretty much it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy to play, but that's what you do. So that's Time Barons in a nutshell. Actually way cooler than I thought. to be honest with you, I don't like card games that are just card games. I like card games that do stuff. So this one feels like you're actually doing stuff. You're putting your followers out there to kind of, well, they work somewhat as action selections, but they also work as energy, kind of in a sense, because you can only do certain actions if you have enough of those, or site actions, if you have enough followers on it. I like the fact that you can do your income, or your resources that you spend are your actions. You just get 3 actions per turn, and you can spend that however you want, whatever you think's most effective in winning your turn. Obviously, the 2 types of victory would be that total victory or the majority victory. So the reason why I like that is because this has the potential to drag on. And if you were both going for total victory, then it would just take forever, because you could, I just killed all your followers except 2. Well, you just played a card that gets you a ton of followers back and things like that. But thankfully, there's a majority victory where once these stacks of cards run out, they don't reshuffle. That's it. Once 3 of the decks of cards run out, whoever has the most followers wins. Now, let's talk some other things that I like about this. I like the art. If you've watched any of my videos, I hate cartoony art, and I hate, really cartoony art in general, and I don't like European style comic book art either, which is not necessarily cartoony, but like Charlie Hebdo, things like that. I'm not a fan of that. I like more realistic Jason Fabok, Ivan Rice, Ethan Van Sciver type comic book art when it comes to those sort of like heroes and things like that. So it's always a weird juxtaposition when I'm playing a game and it's very cartoony, but this one does something weird, and it does something in a good way. It's very dark in a sense, but it's tritone. So each level is level 1s are yellow, level 2 I think it's yellow, orange, red, purple, right? Which is also interesting because it goes up the spectrum, but it's cool because it's tritoned. It's the only way I know how to describe it. Somehow they managed to get a lot of emotion, a lot of imagery in just black and white images on a yellow background, but the color is mixed in, so it's 3 colors. It's the yellow or the red or the orange or the purple and black and white, and it's done so well to where the cartoony art looks kind of ominous, actually. Like the eyes, whoever did the art on this did a really good job of making it, yes, it's a simplistic style, cartoony looking style, but it's very ominous looking. It's not happy-go-lucky Steven Universe stuff, which I don't really like. It's really dark in a sense, so that's actually kind of a positive. It's also kind of a negative. One of the reasons I'm going to knock the game, and it's actually the theme itself, is you look at the front of the box, you go, Time Barons, that sounds kind of light, fun. It's a really dark theme. You are this, it's pretty obviously stated, and if you watch the video from the designer telling you how to play, it's pretty obvious that you're not a benevolent Time Baron. You're some just kind of Time Baron running your own masterful agenda to make sure that you have the most followers, and the other Time Baron dies a horrible, miserable death. So it's a little bit dark of a theme for me, and I say that I'll play it. It doesn't bother me. There's nothing I'm not going to play and be like, well, I don't feel good about this. That's not what I mean. I just think it's a weird theme to be such a light style game. So that kind of hangs with you in the back of your mind, like, wow, this is kind of dark. So really cool art, really cool looking cards themselves. The actual card names are cool. They do some cool things. It comes with the base set and then the expansion you can play with and mix and match. Some of them are just really cool, like Dilemma. It does this thing where you choose 2 of your opponent's sites and they have to pick which one to destroy or something like that. So really thematic. The cards are very thematic. It's not just take 2 followers, lose 2 followers, take 2 followers. It's a lot of choices and strategy and deep thinking things. So I really think they've done a good job of packing a game, a really deep strategy game, into a 30-minute card game. So well done, Wizkids. Well done. I want to give credit to John Perry for that. Really good stuff. I like it. I like the way this game looks. So if card games are your bag, this is definitely one to try out because it's quick and it does some neat things. It does some kind of unique things in the sense that I like the using your actions for your currency as well. But it is a bit of a dark theme, and but if the art is something, I really like the art. I think it's really, really cool looking, and I just want to take out all the cards and look at them because it's a weird juxtaposition of cartoon and serious. So that is, in fact, Time Barons from Wizkids. I think it's an interesting game. Make sure to check that out. Wizkids, you can get it anywhere, that sort of stuff. But it's interesting, and that's all I can say about it. It's an interesting concept that does some cool things on the table. So that's Time Barons from Wizkids. I'm Brian Drake here on The Latest Retro on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Latest Retro. And until next time, I'll see you.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower